Hey. So believe it or not, I'm getting stuff done. Not homework, but I'm getting stuff done. It's so bad. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I am getting some stuff done. Also, I realized that, you know how I was like, oh my goodness, like some of my money's missing, like the dollars and such. I vaguely remember that basically it was lying sort of about, and I went ahead and placed it somewhere. I don't remember where, but I believe it's somewhere in the vicinity. So, what I need to do now is basically go back over to the storage unit, probably on Saturday or maybe Sunday, and go through the stuff and decide or look for basically, um, here we go, decide and look for where exactly it's at. So, yeah, it's somewhere. I don't know where, but it's somewhere. So yeah, that's what I vaguely remember. So yeah, and then that way I can go ahead, take that money, combine it, and then, oh, I'll have more money saved up. So yeah, for special, for if when both I go on a honeymoon. So yeah, I have I wrote down on a sheet of paper how much I have so far, and it'll take some time in order to save up the money that I'm looking at using, or save up money in for a honeymoon, because right now I can go on maybe 2 nights at a hotel. So it'll take some time, but it's definitely doable. I think. Especially if it's like combining me and somebody else and we combine it together in order to equal a little bit more. So, nothing extravagant as of right now, but hopefully in the future, it can be something that's extravagant and fun. So, yeah. Okay, so this is on the picture website. I want to go through it. Like, this is strictly for the stuff that was on the picture website. So that way, it's, yeah, it's on the picture website. And then from there, I'll go ahead and talk about some of the other stuff in another video. So for the picture website, the house painting with the thermostat, I thought it was cute. And it's like, I take it, you and other people sometimes debate about how cold or how hot to keep the house. And it's like, creating a painting for it. It's like, okay, I guess what keeps a house comfortable is definitely the thermostat. So yeah. Also, I saw the picture where it showed all the hens, and it's like, okay, how many hens do you want? The house that I was at, they had around 30 to 40 hens. And they had them in pens. Like here in the USA, I know they kind of keep them free range, basically. Well, sometimes they keep them in pens. Like my cousin, he basically had it where, he had a fence around an area, and then there was also a hen house, and then but the hens could go ahead and go out of the hen house and out of that area and just roam around. There's also a guy I know that I went over to his house for the drones, and basically with his house, he went ahead. There we go. At his house, he had hens, and basically they just stayed in the yard. They stayed in the area, and he said at night he would go ahead and they would automatically go back into the hen house because they're like, okay, I know this place is safe for me. So I thought it was very interesting, where basically they purposely chose not to wander off. So yeah. But yeah, so this particular hen house, they actually had about 30 to 40. And then also they had at least 30 or more eggs per week. Whenever I went over there, like whenever I stayed with them, they're like, yeah, this is the first time we've been able to collect eggs. And they had like crates of 18. And so, or it might have been 30, you know, those big ones that are like huge, like this big or so. It might have been 36. So I think they filled up like half of that. And then also, along with that, they went ahead and filled up like a couple of 18 crates, and then they gave, or 12 crates, and then they gave the over to like friends or family. Yeah, I think they gave it over to family because it's like, this is more eggs than we can possibly eat right now. And then I do like the idea of like collecting eggs, especially from chickens. And then I think they had red hens, so they collected quite a few. I don't know if English hens are different than American hens, but or like certain kind of hens, but I do know that they collected that. And then also I like the grass growing tray also. There we go. I thought it's overall very cute, and especially since it allows for a lot of grass for a long period of time instead of chickens like pecking down to the roots. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know about that. I have seen where basically people who own chickens, they go ahead and next thing you know, it's like, hey, where's the grass? No grass. So yeah, I overall I thought it was really cool and just a really a really good idea overall. Um, Also, the bathroom, I thought it was really pretty at the house that I stayed at, and then also at both of the hotels that I was at. Basically, you know, where the shower head is strictly or directly above you and the water falls down instead of like sprays directly on you. They actually had that at all three of the like, I know for sure, like at the house and then at the last hotel, I'm pretty sure at the first hotel also. So basically, they had um, the hanging shower head at those locations. And then also, I like the fact that in this case it goes over the bathtub. Now, at the host house, they had a separate bathtub and then with a separate shower. But then at the hotels, it was basically strictly a shower, no bathtub at all. And then also I like the wooden frame where it's like, okay, here's part of the bathtub, and then here's the part where it's a shower. So it sort of covers the shower. That way the shower doesn't go out, but you can fill up the bathtub. And it covers only a certain area. It doesn't cover the entire bathtub. Because I know for some of the houses that I've stayed at, basically the shower sprays forward and it hits all of it, but in this case it goes down. So I did like that. I like the fact that it's changed, and it's not a bad change. It's just a unique, cool change overall. So yeah, I like it. Um, and then let's see, the island lake, the area where it's at. I like the fact that it's hiking and you can go over there, and it's like just the scenery is really pretty, with the rugged mountains and the greenery. Um, I could be totally wrong, but I take it in a way like I've been a bit rough, um, just overall, especially with the representation of rugged mountains. So, in that area, I understand, so I get it. Um, but yeah, and then also Glastonbury. So I mentioned about where the mountain or the hill was at, where it's suspected that King Arthur was at. It's over at Tor Glastonbury. Yeah, where King Arthur was at. So I just wanted to let you know since I went there and I was like, okay, what was it called? And I couldn't remember what it was called, but yeah, it was called Tor Glastonbury. So yeah. Anyways, I will talk to you later. I will attempt to do some more video tonight. I'm gonna go grab some dinner with some friends and then probably come back and then go out again. So, oh shoot, I need to send an email to my professor. Um, so yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so I'm done with that, and then, yeah, I think that's really about it. I also need to give out some items to friends. I need to give out the postcards and be like, here you go. Let's wait till after we're done eating for me to give out, actually, so that way it doesn't get ruined or anything. Because it's like they're postcards, but they're also from England, and just in case they want to hold it as a memento, like I don't want to have them destroyed. So, and I mean, like I don't want them to be like, oh man, I destroyed it. Like, what am I going to do? So yeah. Here, one sec. Yeah, my room. I turned on the heater, And it was like, yeah, it's 61 degrees in here. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So, yeah. I was like, no, because also the, one sec. There we go. I'm back. So yeah, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It's cold in here. I don't know, just know. Oh, one of the things I noticed, I'm not sure if I told you because I've talked about it a few times, is basically over in England, like people, how they get kids to do stuff is basically either like at one point their teenage or the 15-year-old stepdaughter. So she is the man's daughter and then the with a different woman, basically. And then she goes over to her dad's house every other week and then to her mom's house every other week. So, there we go. Yay! Okay. All right, there we go. So, yeah, I remember at one point, like the 4-year-old boy who was like misbehaving or doing something, trying to fight with his older sister. And at one point, she went ahead and was like, "Look, everybody is looking at you because of your behavior," or something similar to that. And like he stopped, and we all looked at him, and he looked at everyone whenever, like, so she said that, and then we all looked at him, and whenever we all looked at him, he looked at us, and she's like, "See, everybody's looking at you," and then like he stopped, like completely froze, and then like walked away, and I was like, wow. Now in America, that might be considered like bullying or something similar to that, or like undue harassment or something, but it works. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, so what you're saying is that sometimes Americans cannot handle accountability because over in Parliament, my host was explaining that sometimes they'll make fun of someone because of like they broke a law basically, and I was like, that's amazing. I mean, like some people might be like, okay, this is cruel and unusual punishment, but I'm just like, no, you don't understand. Like sometimes people need to understand that there are consequences to their actions and they cannot and should not do certain things. And so I think sometimes people are like, no, like we shouldn't enforce certain punishments because it's like it creates undue mental stress. But it's honestly like, okay, so what you're saying is they can't handle consequences for their actions. Is that what you're saying? So, yeah, I thought it was very interesting. I'm like, you know what? Since technically, according to American law, we're not allowed to, or sorry, the schools are not allowed to spank a child. It's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and I really, really I like it because I don't, I'm like, what else are we supposed to do? I like that method of doing stuff. So I so what is also is that the students are coming over here, like from Bridgewater College, they're coming over here next month. And it was posted in the group chat, hey guys, like the students want to see if there's anything that they can bring over for us. And I'm like, I need a guide of like how you guys react or train or teach and what are the rules on that, because I'm like, I want to learn how you guys do it and be able to do it myself, especially if I'm looking at working with a classroom, because I'm like, that's brilliant. Like it's one of the few things that works. And yeah, like in America it's like, okay, what are we allowed to do? Talk to the parents. Well, sometimes the parents just do not care. Like they're like, oh, well, my child still deserves to pass. They can't read and they can't write. Also, or somewhat. But at the same time, over in England, it's like the people who are criminals, like 75%, I'm like, they can't read and write. Whereas here in America, it's like, no, we're going to make sure that you read and write. If you don't know how to read and write, you're going to retake that grade, or you're going to go ahead, so either retake that grade, or you're going to go ahead and retake those courses. Like, you don't have a choice. And so, like, I think America's system, in a way, is better in terms of that. And then also, like, even though in Great Britain their goal is to rehabilitate people, I was talking to a lady, and she's like, one of the ladies who works with trying to teach students and get their GED. She's like, yeah, basically some of the students, they know how to read and write. Well, they're supposed to teach other inmates. So the students are basically inmates. They're supposed to teach other inmates how to read and write, because 75% of the inmates don't know how to read and write. And she's saying that basically over in their system, they're supposed to do that. Well, the inmates who do know how to read and write, they'll hold that over other inmates' heads and like, okay, you want to learn how to read and write, then you need to do something for me. And it could be something like drugs or cigarettes, or like more than likely drugs, or something else illegal. And it's like a goal of rehabilitation, but at the same time it ends up just perpetuating the problem. And I was like, wow, so their goal is rehabilitation, but here in America, like, we actually have it where for good behavior you get certain things, whereas over there it's like, oh, like, yeah. And I'm just like, that's very interesting. No, my air conditioner unit turned on and I had my heat on. Okay, well, at least it warmed up a little bit, at least to 68. And now the air is gone. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna eat some dinner and then I'll be back. Yeah, again, like, if I don't do the video tonight, like, if you don't see a video tonight, I'll definitely have it up and running by tomorrow morning, so that way I can get back in the habit of posting it whenever I wake up. So, yeah. I think I can. Talk to you later. Bye. Love you.